Welcome to Craft the Future, the first virtual Smithsonian craft show, hosted by celebrity chef and Smithsonian ambassador Carla Hall. Take it away, Carla.
Hi, everybody. Many of you know that I love to cook, but I have two other loves. One is the Smithsonian, and the other is fine American craft. So if I take my two loves and I make a dish in this beautiful handmade pot, I would be a very happy camper. And if I turned around and served it in this beautiful hand-hammered bowl, I mean, what? This could make any dish taste good. That is why I am so excited to be here at the Smithsonian's Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden, our National Museum of Modern Art. I'll be emceeing tonight's event, the first virtual Smithsonian Craft Show Gala and live auction. My only question is, what to wear? And this show gives me and all of you so many fabulous choices. Besides having fun tonight, your shopping will support some of the finest craft artists in the U.S. and raise funds for the important work of the Smithsonian. That's something that you've already been doing for many years as you've attended our shows at the National Building Museum in Washington, D.C. Take a look at what you've made possible.
Getting into the Smithsonian Craft Show is very competitive. We get about 1,200 applications for the 120 spots. We end up with a juried show of about 120.
I love the Smithsonian Craft Show. It's the most prestigious show you can do.
It's an honor to be in Smithsonian Craft Show. Then give you a bragging right to other people, hey, I'm doing Smithsonian Craft Show.
I love exhibiting here at the craft show because I get to see artwork from different artists, and everyone is doing something totally different from the other. It's always exciting to see that.
I'm just amazed what ideas people come up with. So I like to look at everything.
I love it all, but I think my favorite is probably ceramics and glass and jewelry.
Between jewelry and wearable art, glass, basketry, metal, wood, furniture, paper, it's exciting.
This is her first time.
This is my first time. We actually came from Seattle just for this.
I always look forward to seeing something different and new, and I'm really wowed by this show.
The level of jewelry making here has been just crazy awesome, and I'm just blown away.
People may not realize that when they come to the Smithsonian Craft Show, the gate and the exhibitor's fees goes back to the Smithsonian in the form of grants.
We raise in the environment of $350,000 to $400,000, which then gets distributed through our grants process that same given year. We have raised nearly $11 million over the last several decades. We funded over 1,000 grants, and we funded 7 endowments. It is all volunteer. We as a women's committee produce it from soup to nuts, but the outcome is worth it.
So Smithsonian is very lucky to have Smithsonian Craft Show.
The title for this year's show is Craft the Future. And here's why. In this increasingly digital age, the Smithsonian Women's Committee is committed to making fine craft more accessible to everyone. Through the craft show, they support the work of the Smithsonian. A portion of the proceeds from every single item sold will go toward grants for the Smithsonian programs. Therefore, you can craft a better future for the Smithsonian museums, research centers, and the National Zoo simply by shopping. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, okay? You will also craft a better future for the country's top artists in a time of challenge due to the COVID-19 crisis. Now, to put a face on these artists, let's see a few of their stories right now.
A design starts for me while I'm cutting gemstones. While I am working with that gemstone, it becomes much smaller. It takes on a life of its own. And in that process, it reveals itself to me. The colors become different. The shape is different. I am lucky enough to live not that far from the beach. And there's a rare endangered species called black coral. And I think it's beautiful. It's this rare species that looks like a rough branch, but when polished up, makes a glossy, hard, gorgeous material that looks fabulous in jewelry.
Shibori is all about kind of the verb root of wringing, twisting, squeezing. None of this is new, but the way I put it together is my own. And a big part of my work is really focusing on color, texture, line, form, pattern, all the different essences to create balance. I also explore that in my body movement work, and so it all really comes together. I think that there's incredible movement within the body, within the mind. Clothing is such an important part of who we are because it shapes us. I have a client who had called me in the beginnings of COVID and she said, I was absolutely not feeling great. One day I decided to put on lipstick and I put on one of your coats and she said, it just made me happy. And I thought, well, that is what it's about. I would not call myself a fashion designer because this is not trend. It's more about what do you need? What do I love to create? And where do we meet in the middle?
I am beyond honored to be in the Smithsonian Craft Show, to be around so many talented artists that I've revered and looked up to and been inspired by for so long.
I'm back with a different craft look so I can introduce you to the person who is crafting the future of the Smithsonian literally every single day. He is the 14th Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, Lonnie G. Bunch III. Secretary Bunch is the first historian and also the first African American to be head of the Smithsonian. Previously, he spent 11 years transforming the vision of a new National Museum of African American History and Culture into a reality. This is how I met and got to know this unique and awe-inspiring man. There's something else you should know about Secretary Bunch. Early in his career, he received a grant from the Smithsonian Women's Committee that he often says set him on the course to success. He has agreed to talk with us about the importance of these grants to Smithsonian programs and the significance of fine craft in showcasing the American story.
Hello, I'm Lonnie Bunch, Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the opening night of the 2020 Virtual Craft Show, presented annually by the Smithsonian's Women's Committee. This program is an opportunity to enjoy the ingenuity and craftsmanship of some amazing artists, and maybe to make a few of these pieces your own. In many ways, the annual craft show embodies the best of what we hope to achieve at the Smithsonian. We want to delight and inspire our audiences. We want to celebrate and enable creativity. We want to engage and reward curiosity. Throughout the year, we embrace these principles in every area of our work, in education, culture, science, and the arts. And every year, this show raises much-needed funds that benefit the entire Smithsonian complex, our 19 museums, numerous education centers, an international network of scientific facilities, and the National Zoo. That is why I'm so grateful to the Smithsonian's Women's Committee, both for ensuring that tonight can happen and for the grant-making work that funds projects across the Smithsonian year-wide. Personally, I know that throughout my career at the Smithsonian, There have been times when projects that I imagined that were important to me got much needed support from the Women's Committee. So I know personally how important this group is in enabling our fundamental values and enabling the creativity of our staff. The 120 artists participating in the craft show work across an astonishing range of media, from basketry to ceramics to decorative fiber to furniture to glass, jewelry, leather, metal, mixed media, paper, wearables, and wood. We're featuring artists already well known in their field, as well as emerging talents. And to all the artists, let me say welcome. Whether it is your first craft show or your fifth, we are thrilled to have you join us. Let me also thank all of you watching at home for tuning in tonight. We've never done a craft show like this before. But I hope and expect that this virtual environment will create as many opportunities for discovery and excitement as this show has in the past. And when so much of what we hold dear has been altered by the pandemic, it is especially meaningful to maintain the traditions that we value. In times like these, I know that it can be difficult to find moments of beauty, but that's what makes this show so important. So take a breath tonight to appreciate the beauty and the richness of what you see. Look around and celebrate. Revel in the creativity and crafts on display. Find pleasure in discovering something unexpected. But most of all, enjoy yourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary Bunch, for highlighting the important work that our craft show grants make possible. Here's a question for you. What do climate change, baby cheetahs, and the Discovery Theater have in common? No guesses? They're all the focus of research grants to the Smithsonian from the Smithsonian Women's Committee. Here are some more examples of what your shopping makes possible.
For more than 50 years, a core group of volunteer advocates, members of the Smithsonian Women's Committee, have supported the Smithsonian's mission. With proceeds from its juried craft show, the committee awards grants for scientific and cultural projects throughout the Smithsonian Institution. This video offers a small window into the groundbreaking grants we fund. During the building of the Panama Canal nearly a century ago, Smithsonian scientists were sent to determine the environmental impact of the construction. They established what is now the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, and today they study the effect of climate change on many species, on vegetation, and on marine habitats. The Smithsonian doesn't just care for animals who live at the National Zoo. They also work for the welfare of animals in other parts of the world. At the National Zoo and the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute, our grants support the preservation of endangered species such as pandas, rhinos, and clouded leopards. Not every community is fortunate enough to have the Smithsonian in their backyard. To reach underserved audiences, we provide grants for exhibitions that travel to parts of the country that have few museums. And we bring children to our Washington, D.C. museums for special programs, including plays at the Discovery Theater. The Women's Committee knows the value of developing supporting materials for our exhibits. We frequently assist the Smithsonian by funding printed materials, placards, pamphlets, and audio guides that enhance the visitor's experience. The Smithsonian Women's Committee is proud to play a leading role in sharing and preserving America's culture and scientific heritage.
Did you all know that the word gala comes from Old French during the 1600s and originally meant rejoicing? I mean, rejoicing! Today, it means a social event to raise funds for a good cause, like the Smithsonian. So let's do some rejoicing by bidding on unique works of art during the live auction that is just about to start. Sales benefit the artist and proceeds support grants to the Smithsonian museums and research centers. And after the auction ends tonight, the craft show continues. You still have 4 days to explore and buy recent work from more than 100 craft show artists. Each artist has an online shop at BidSquare, so you can visit smithsoniancraftshow.org for a link to the shops. I'm telling you, we make it so easy. And remember, a percentage of the proceeds of each online sale helps support the Smithsonian. You can also unleash your generosity by donating any amount you like. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to donate, but unleash it. Now it's time to have fun and bid at the auction. I would like to welcome our auctioneer for the evening, Lauren Brunk from Brunk Auctions, to get the Smithsonian Craft Show auction underway. Take it away, Lauren.